All right. Welcome to episode 66 of Faith, Fitness, Joy. Today, I am sharing some unique tips for how you can transform your mindset. You can use these in addition to many of the other things that you might be doing to help accelerate your process of mindset transformation and also freshen your perspective a bit. These tips that I'm discussing today are first, move your body. Second, rewrite your script. Third, connect with nature. And four, express your creativity. So I started learning about mindset about 7 years ago, at least, different ways that you can shift it to help with my weight loss efforts and also really kind of focusing on how I could improve my body image, as that was something that I was struggling a lot with at the time that I kind of started with this work, if you will. Like any other change or transformation, your mindset takes time to transform. It takes discipline and it also takes consistency. There's a reason that they say old habits die hard, and that's because they do. 7 years in, and I now understand that this is very much a lifelong effort. It took me, 37 years from going back to the time I started this work to kind of lock in a certain paradigm and the dominant thought paradigm that I had at the time. So I figure it's easily going to take just as long to lock in a new one. But that doesn't mean it takes that long for you to start seeing the benefits of changing your mindset. So just want to note that. I've also realized that one of the reasons for this is because you're not just creating a new paradigm or a new mindset. You're also undoing the existing paradigm that you're starting from, which also involves a lot of inner work to really root out whatever the origins of that dominant paradigm and mindset that you're operating in are, right? And as you're doing all of this, you're also changing your behaviors and your routines. So, needless to say, it's a lot of work. A lot of the methods, research, literature, and guidance all around this include focusing on changing the thought patterns. This involves things like affirmations. It involves positive self-talk. A lot of you are probably familiar with that because that's very prevalent in this space when you start to go into, transforming your mindset or looking at how to do that. And this is absolutely powerful and very helpful and very much, a critical piece of all of this work. But there are some other things that you can do that will help with reinforcing a lot of these efforts with, inner dialogue and affirmations and all of that, while you're also working on changing your perspective in different ways than maybe you may have heard to date, right? So let's jump into these. So the first one that I mentioned is move your body. Now, this likely isn't the first thing that comes to mind when you think about setting out to transform your mindset, right? But it is such a key component to transforming your mindset. So they say that fitness or weight loss is 20% exercise, 80% nutrition, and 100% mindset. I don't know if you've seen the memes that talk about that or not, but it's so true. It's so accurate. Because without the mindset, all of the rest of it is a lot harder and probably not sustainable, I would argue. That said, I invite you to look at this a little bit differently and consider how exercise can shift your mindset. So, for example, have you ever been really upset about something, right? And maybe you go take a walk to kind of cool off, if you will. Or maybe you like deep clean your house when you get in a fight with your spouse or have a bad day at work or something like that. And then you just suddenly kind of feel a little bit better about it. Yeah, it might not be solved or you might not feel, on top of the world per se, but you feel maybe lifted and you just kind of feel better about the whole situation and maybe a little bit calmer. So there's something about physical movement that really helps us change our perspective and clear our minds. And I believe that this is because it helps us to move that energy of those emotions out of our body. It helps us release them. It's a form of release. So including forms of physical movement in your daily routine to help you shift your perspective and by extension, your mindset is really beneficial. And this can be all kinds of things, right? It doesn't have to be um, a whole workout routine if that's not what you want to do right now. It can be just walking more, it can be adding dance, it can be stretching, whatever feels good for you and whatever kind of helps you get that clarity and that fresh perspective um, from moving your body and just working that energy out. So the second tip I have for you today is to rewrite your script. What do I mean by that? Well, part of changing your mindset is changing your thoughts and your beliefs, as in literally rewriting them, like transforming them, alchemizing them. And an important first step in this is to obviously you have to identify your current paradigm and what your current limiting beliefs are. A lot of us are walking around, pretty much oblivious to or unaware of them. I know I was for many moons, right? Until I started learning about this and started doing this. So you have to first become aware. So looking at what are your beliefs? What do you believe to be true for you? For example, you can say things to yourself or look at what you're saying to yourself. What kinds of things are you saying to yourself on a day-to-day basis? Are you saying things like, oh, I'll never get ahead, or I just can't win, or I can't seem to lose weight no matter what I do, or everything's an uphill battle, or anything along those lines, right? Is that the kind of thing that you're saying to yourself? Or what kinds of things are you saying to yourself? You want to take stock of that and really look at the types of things that you're saying. What other evidence do you have in your reality of your dominant thought paradigm? So take a look around at things like your job, your bank account, your body image, relationships, right? Everything in your life is telling you something about whatever your dominant thought paradigm is, good or bad. They're all showing you what perceptions you hold or have around these various aspects of your life. So the idea here is to start listing as many of these as you can think of, as many as you might become aware of. And you can do this by topic. So for example, if it's maybe your job is top of mind for you right now, so maybe start with that and look at, what you believe about your current job, and then back up from there and look at past jobs and how you felt about those or what beliefs were attached to that. You can do this for, money. Money is a big one. Money is a really big tell for a lot of us about what our mindset is. So whatever area you're picking, you want to start by writing down all the different stories and beliefs that you can think of related to that area. And also looking at what you're telling yourself, and also looking at memories that are related to this or could be connected to whatever this life area is. So once you have all of that, you want to look at that list. Or a good way to do this is to either on a single sheet of paper, writing all of the limiting beliefs and stories on one side, and then doing this next part on another side, or you can open a notebook and have the limiting beliefs on the left page, and you can start doing the other part on the right side of the page, or the right page. So once you have the limiting beliefs listed, you want to start asking yourself what feels better. Like look at each limiting belief, look at each story, and just ask yourself, what would feel better for me than this story? And it doesn't have to be something that is a reality right now. It doesn't have to be something that you're necessarily experiencing in present day. It's just what you want. What would feel better? What would you prefer, right? So you want to start writing those down for yourself next to each of these limiting beliefs and memories. Try to see if you can come up with the exact opposite of whatever the limiting belief or story is, and then writing all of those down on the other paper. And then you want to burn or destroy that other list of limiting beliefs. And this is more of a symbolic thing, but it's just kind of a way of like you're releasing them, and you're saying like, I am no longer subscribing to these beliefs and stories anymore. I now have my new list of beliefs and my new stories for myself that I am choosing to believe now. So the third tip is to connect with nature. So getting out in nature is another great way to change perspectives on things. Obviously, this can be something as simple as taking a walk outside, but it can also be going and taking a drive somewhere new, or maybe where there's more nature. Like if you live in the city, maybe take a couple hours and go drive out to the country, go to the mountains, go to the beach, depending on where you live. Spend a day at the river, spend a day at the lake, maybe the beach. Plan a camping trip and spend a weekend, or take an extra day off work or something and just spend some time camping somewhere where you're out in nature. Going to a wildlife preserve is another great idea and a great way to connect with nature. Or a petting zoo where you can connect with animals, and you can even, petting zoos are nice because like you can actually touch the animal, you can actually connect with it in a more physical way than just maybe observing them somewhere. So those are some ideas. It's just getting out in nature and connecting with nature is just such a powerful reminder of the beauty and wonder and all the miracles that exist in this world. And it has a way of kind of shrinking our problems down to size. It has a way of putting things in perspective for us. I mean, I get it. Like when you're going through something and whatever your problems may be, if you dwell in them enough, they can become really big and they can feel overwhelming and overpowering and humongous and all of that, right? So getting out in nature can help shrink them down to size and put things back in perspective, and just a way to remember, like, oh, there's this whole beautiful world out there, and it just makes you kind of feel better about everything. And then tip number 4 is to express your creativity. So this is the last one on the list, but it's certainly not the least. And so this is about really exploring your creative outlets, what they are, and do more of those. And if you're not sure what they are, just play around with this. Try different things. Try things that maybe you don't do a whole lot, that enable you to have a creative outlet, to be creative and just explore that side of yourself, right? Like you don't have to be Picasso in order to do this. And I know sometimes if you're a perfectionist, this can be a challenge to get yourself kind of out of that mode of like, oh, if it doesn't look great. But the idea is to just like kind of let your mind go and really get lost in whatever these creative outlets or activities that you're giving a try are. So there's all kinds of different things you can try. There's lots of fun tutorials on YouTube. I use this all the time for stuff to do with my kids, especially around the holidays. There's so many different easy like art and craft projects that you can find how-tos on YouTube, and a lot of them aren't even that like elaborate or expensive or anything like that. A lot of them you can even do with stuff you probably already have around your house. Maybe you prefer things like interior design and decorating. So you might want to look up different DIY home decor types of things that you can do, or even just playing around with what you already have in your house and arranging things a different way and moving things around differently, or picking up a couple new pieces for your living room or something like that, just as another way to kind of be creative and express yourself creatively. Cooking and baking are big ones for me. I love just kind of getting creative when I'm cooking. So that's another suggestion for something to try. The idea is to really, not overthink it. Just try different things and see what you like. And again, it's really about finding something that helps take your mind off of things that you can sort of get yourself lost in. So those are my 4 unique tips that you can use to help with whatever you might be doing to transform your mindset, help you get a fresh perspective on things, and just open your mind a little bit and reconnect with yourself. So I hope that this gives you some ideas for some things that you can integrate with whatever you might already be doing. And that concludes today's episode of Faith, Fitness, Joy. As always, I would love to hear from you. So please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you find this helpful and want to continue the pursuit of faith, fitness, and joy with me, please like and subscribe. And you can also find all things related to faith, fitness, joy on my website at www.faithfitnessjoy.com. And last but not least, There is also a free Facebook group by the same name, Faith Fitness Joy. So would love to see you in there if you want to send a request to get access to that. And with that, I will wish you all a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.